we are gonna get into the last match here, Hawk versus Bonyth. Now Nyoken, because apparently you know, like whenever you make a prediction, it turns out to be true. And I've tried to jinx them just to troll you a bit, but it looks like you have the magic touch. So who's getting out of this group?
I have to go with Bonyth. I don't think there wasn't anything really that stood out to me in the True Touch game where I thought, okay, well, he's just off his game today. There just happens sometimes. Mm, more mutas come in your base than you expect, and you throw a game like that. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Hawk, it's not like he's playing poor either. It's just, this is BSL. I'm pretty sure the B stands for Bonyth. It's just his Starleague, right? He never loses. So it's hard to argue against Bonyth here. So I think I have to go with Bonyth, even though I want NA desperately to make it to round of 8.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see though, because again, Hawk is a strong player. And again, the Zerg matchup is Bonyth's Achilles heel. We saw it today against True Touch. Now, True Touch, obviously an amazing player, so arguably better than Hawk. But I would say if Hawk plays really well, I think he's on that same tier. So it's going to be up to Hawk to really kind of like play his own game and deliver a victory here. Of course, he's up against the tippity top of non-Korean StarCraft in Bonyth. So we'll have to see what he has prepared. The map is going to be, the first map is going to be Blade Runner, as it was last game. And we saw earlier today that, Bonyth has played PvZ on this map. He actually picked this map, right? Because he was in that loser picks situation, and he opted to go for Blade Runner. So in his eyes, this is a good map versus Zerg, but he got completely dismantled on it. So I don't know, man. Hawk might have a decent shot here.
Yeah, it's true. Definitely, he's got a chance. True Touch really did a good job with his multitasking. However, I think the multitask with the Hydras is, I guess, a True Touch specific thing, because I haven't seen anybody else multitask like that. I've seen other players macro as well as him. Tons of players come to mind, like Striker and Eon Zerg and them. Even last BSL, they macroed incredibly. However, the pulling apart of Bonyth was something that we haven't seen any of the Zerg players do, so I'm not too sure if Hawk is going to have the same type of success. We were talking about how this map looks good for Protoss if you can get the 4 bases, but it's getting there that's the problem. So let's get into our final match of the day. It is Bonyth versus one of the hopes of NA in Hawk. So in the top left, in red, it is Bonyth.
And in the bottom left, in blue, it is Hawk.
By the way, Medinho lost last game and he was red, so I guess that theory goes out the window.
Well, we'll have to see this. Yeah, I mean, well, this is going to be the tiebreaker, if you think about it. We're starting to, we just started the tabulation of the statistics here, so the early variance is going to be real.
Oh, you know what I remember? What I remember? In the groups, we actually have an NA representative in every single group. There's one player in each group. Hawk is our NA rep here. Michael's in one of them. Dragon's in another one. Who's the other NA player? Oh, Cork is in the other one. So every group has an NA hopeful. They're not going to eliminate each other in the round of 16. So that's nice. Finally, maybe we'll get somebody into the finals. I'm hopeful every single season, but it seems like Europe just dominates every time. However, in Europe versus NA, who was the victor, Mihai? That's right, it was NA.
Well,
we need to have that again.
Yeah, we definitely do need to have that. South America, of course, also always has very strong showings in the BSL. Dandy and Terror, absolutely strong players.
Oh, this is gonna be 2K. Oh, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I am disappointed too. Bonyth probably saving the strats for later in the tournament. which is what we always say. I'm always hoping he whips out the robotics, one base robotics, fly that Reaver around with the speed. It's really, it's not that bad, you know. It'd be interesting to see if he ever prepares that. But so far, the patented gateway opening, and I like this end scout basically from Bonyth. For some reason, he knew that I don't know if he saw the Overlord or saw a drone or something out on the map, but scouts Hawk second. Hawk, meanwhile, did go hatchery first, it seems like. So this is... Oh, he actually did go hatchery first. And look, he has the third hatch on the way already. So really kind of unorthodox. Well, unorthodox. You don't really see hatch first too often in this matchup these days. Gas is going down. The lings are popping. But this is why gateway first is quite decent versus hatchery first, because you get this timing where the Zealot is in the middle line. And if he gets one drone kill, that's good enough. But so far, the micro is clean from Hawk. Thing is, he is losing a lot of mining time, but hasn't lost a drone just yet, which is the important part. But this mining time is starting to hurt. Of course, you know, you don't want to lose a drone, but when you're losing like essentially an entire mining cycle plus, that kind of represents a drone's mining for a while. So the damage, in my opinion, is done here. And Bonyth forced 6 lings with just 1 Zealot. This is really good for Bonyth.
Meanwhile, behind this, we finally have a deviation. It looks like Forge went up very quickly, so he's got a cannon coming up. I guess he's worried about potential counterattack quickly. Now, you're talking about how much mining time is lost when you pull workers. Actually, it's almost basically 1 per second. It takes like 8 seconds to mine 1 mineral patch, so basically 1 per second. So lings are going to come in here. No way they're getting through that. Second Zealot popped out back in the main of Bonyth, I assume Cybernetics. Yep, it's halfway along. Now, you have more experience watching Hawk, playing with Hawk. I thought I heard you say that he's more of like a Hydra player as opposed to Lair, and this kind of seems like what we're going to see.
I don't know, man. I don't play Protoss. We'll have to... I don't know, actually. It looks like he does have a Lair. I can't really remember Hawk having a preference for either one, to be completely honest with you. So, you know, but again, I haven't really watched him play too much CVP. He doesn't really strike me as someone that's too aggressive, though. I feel like he is kind of macro-oriented. You don't really see him go for the 973s. You don't really see him go for like the really early busts. At least not that I've seen him. And so far this game, I mean, with that 12 hatch opening, he is getting into a really nice spot. He has his lair finished already. Spire is on the way. So Hawk kind of trying to transition into a very standard mid game here. And it's going to be, you know, the next step here is whether or not Zerg gets a second gas to try and go for early Mutalisks, or if he tries to go up to that 5 hatchery count with the Hydra Den. But meanwhile, Bonyth in his base, he has the second gas going, has the core spinning, and the Stargate finishing. That can only mean one thing. That is going to be Corsairs. And we'll have to see if he mixes in DTs with this. Or, yep, looks like by adding those gates, it looks like he is going to favor kind of Zealot Corsair.
Yeah, it looks very similar to what we saw on Overwatch. And this is going to be another big round of Zealots just flooding in. Maybe around 9 or so, looking to deal some damage, I'm guessing. Probably at the third base, but of course if he sees an opening at the Nat, he'll go there. Spire should be done now, right? I don't think that this Sair will get a kill, but maybe it will get just 1. For sure, it's not going to get 2. Meanwhile, 4th and 5th hatch going up, Hydrogen going down. So Bonyth sees exactly what's going on. 3 gates are already done. Citadel is done, but I did notice that Bonyth was mining his gas relatively early, so he is going to be banking up that Templar energy pretty quickly afterwards. But for now, Hawk is going to have to be dealing with a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, with the early gates here, Zealot count is going to ramp up, and as opposed to one of the earlier games we saw Bonyth go, you know, against True Touch, he went for kind of a Zealot push, but he had pushed out earlier with his initial 4 Zealots and lost them before he hit that speed lock timing, and that kind of weakened his push. But this time around, because he goes for the second gas really early, it looks like he's been much more conservative with his initial zealots. So that means that the subsequent push is going to be much stronger. And honestly, Corsairs, even against, there's one problem Corsairs have, this Corsair type play. It's when Zerg does not go for that spire, or does not choose to go for Mutalisks, it's hard to find the value in these Corsairs, and they represent a lot of supply. That's like 10 to 12 supply, plus all the resources spent into them. It's very easy to get run over by mass Hydralisk production. But Corsairs in conjunction with something like this 3-gate Zealot, the Zealots kind of run in there and start fighting the Hydralisks, and the Corsairs fly over and start killing a bunch of Overlords and really slow down the Zerg economy. So that's going to be Bonyth's plan, is to try and get the Corsairs to kill a couple of Overlords, make sure that he buys himself enough time to get into Templar tech, and we'll see if Hawk is able to deal with this push out.
Well, this is a ton of Corsairs. Already 6 were done. You can see that he's trying to engage right at this choke. It looks like there's a bit too many Hydralisks for Bonyth to feel comfortable moving in. There are those Sayers. I thought he had 6, but it's only, I guess, 5 for now. Plus 1 weapon for the Sayers. I think should be completing pretty soon if he had it upgrading. Yeah, plus 1 is done. So these Overlords have to be very, very careful, because for sure they don't have plus 1 armor anytime soon. Hydra's in the main, nicely defending these couple Overlords. 1 is going to fall though, but not a big deal to Hawk. He still has, well, I guess he only has 1 supply available. Zealot's coming through the back line, but already Hydras were in position. Now, if I was Hawk in this position, I'd be worried about potential DT, but we see that there's no DT anywhere. Behind this, it is just Templars being built. And now Bonyth is going to lose all of these Zealots. Sure, Hawk is getting supply blocked. Oh, he's going to get massively supply blocked, and we've seen this before. This is going to be so many resources going into Overlords that are not units. And now Bonyth, sure, he just needs to hold like a potential counterattack right now, and he's going to be going into the mid game feeling pretty good.
And thinking back to True Touch playing this matchup, actually, this is exactly why he enjoys going for that early lair, because you can get Overlord speed so fast that this doesn't become a problem. Like, a lot of those Overlords died because they were just slow, and they just couldn't move away, and they got completely picked off. But once you get the Overlord speed, this isn't as threatening. And you can see now Hawk, I mean, that was a good trade for both players. Hawk picked off a lot of Zealots, so it's not like he lost economy there, but he lost like close to 6 to 7 Overlords, and that does represent like almost 1,000 minerals right there, which is a huge amount compared to like replacing Hydralisks or something like that. Plus the fact that you're not making any more units or the drones. So definitely, both players kind of even at this point, I would say. And Zerg is looking to be in a nice spot though, because he is getting his 4th base. Meanwhile, that is a lot of gateways from Bonyth. 9 gate, even more. This is 11 gate. Holy moly, it's going to be a huge 2-base timing.
Yeah, I actually had to do a double take there. That is actually 11 gateways on 2 bases now. I was thinking, like, okay, maybe he banked a lot of gas and like 4 of the gateways are going to be used on Templars, but he's gas starved, so this is just an overwhelming amount of gates. I guess he's expecting to get his 3rd base up and running this time. Versus True Touch, it got constantly denied, and for now it looks like that's going to be the case. But look at the supplies, 105 to 95. I feel like this could have been a scenario where, again, he could have gotten denied. Lurkers are being more for Hawk. It looks like the Corsairs did spot them though, so maybe he should know that they are coming. Goons are already out, so Observer should be coming out pretty soon. Wow, he might actually get another Sair kill, and this Sair count that was at 6 is all of a sudden only at 2.
Yeah, but here's the problem compared to, I mean, I definitely like Hawk's position, but he's not putting on any pressure, and if you let Protoss just take this 3rd base for free, basically, it is a feels bad moment. I mean, usually Protoss has to fight tooth and nail for this 3rd base, and this 4th base would be disastrous to let happen unpunished, because the 4 bases is really, and the sooner you get it, here's the thing, the sooner you get it as Protoss, the sooner you can transfer your probes away from your main and your natural. So you mine out your main and your natural that much slower. So you get such efficiency from your probes. Your econ basically is huge. Whereas generally, the Protoss only takes their third and their fourth base as they're basically mining out at their other two bases. So this is going to be a really, really good position to be in as Bonyth. You know, that being said, Hawk is getting Hive. He has a massive economy, but Protoss can go blow to blow with Zerg, especially if they're untouched like this.
Yeah, this is why I was saying that I expected this map to be pretty good for Protoss if they can get 4 bases, and he just instantly took it. And if you look at the routes that Zerg has to take to attack, okay, he's attacking up high ground into the 4th base. If he goes to attack the Nat or the 3rd base or the main, he's got to go through the power generator, so it's choked up anywhere he attacks. So Hawk, I don't think if he goes for lair base play, okay, thankfully he's going for hive base play. I don't think a lair base like timing would almost ever work on this map. I think he's gonna have to channel his inner Larva. You know, Larva loves to play split map style.
Yeah.
Now this map does look quite big. If you do leave the 4th base, you are gonna be exposed there to like an instant counterattack or a drop, and that is a pretty wide ramp. You can see how many zealots he's leaving there just to defend. So I think after the 4 bases, it might be a bit hard for Protoss, but initial 4 bases seems like this is a dream scenario.
This is so weird. It's like getting transported back to like 2007, 2008 with how Hawk is playing. Just Lurker sunken in base, teching to Hive. He is ahead in supply, but he's just going to take bottom right. So Hawk's going to play a very, very kind of old school style in Turtle Zerg, which is, it can be extremely oppressive, but it relies on quick defiler timing because there is no answer to this goon push other than defilers. I mean, of course he has sunks and lurks, so it's going to take a while for Protoss to push through, but it can be extremely cost efficient when you essentially give Protoss the space to set up like this and to just make goons and storm off of 4 base. So really at this point, Hawk is desperately going to try and get into defiler tech. And look at Bonyth, just so smart of him to expand this choke. It's going to allow him more space to essentially siege down these lurkers. My god, this is going to be so good for Protoss actually, because now there's no choke really funneling the Protoss units in. Of course, there is a lot of Zerg to plow through before going on the offensive here, and Hawk smartly runs a couple of lings forward. There are no zealots there to defend the Dragoons because, of course, the Protoss does not want the zealots to kind of start pushing forward and get into the lurker fire. Nidus is done though, which means, of course, the hive is finished. Defiler Mound probably on the way, and once Dark Swarm gets added here, it's going to be very hard for Protoss to do anything. And really, Bonyth is going to have to basically grind this out in a long game. Now, Protoss, long game, what are you thinking about doing? Thinking about taking that 5th base? You're thinking about starting to add shuttles and shuttle speed and reavers and storm drops and getting into Zealot Archon composition.
Yeah, it looks like Zerg is about to hit their power spike. Hive has been done for a while, so I imagine Adrenaline should be done pretty soon. Powerful Ling upgrade is going to be coming in pretty soon. Defiler Mound should be done. Looks like Bonyth is going to attack. Yeah, Consume is done, so Dark Swarm comes up, and that's going to nullify the majority of the damage output from Bonyth. Meanwhile, he has no idea about bottom right. Hawk has got that up and running. He's got a Nidus there, too. Looks like... Okay, I thought Bonyth might continue to push. That would probably be suicide. And now what does Bonyth do? We know that he loves to harass. Looks like he's trying to take top middle. He is moving around the right side, and there's the answer. He's got triple robotics and support bay.
Yeah, that's gonna be nuts. So many shuttles, so many reavers are gonna come out onto the field. Bonyth is gonna poke around, trying to go for another attack here. This is gonna force Hawk to react, but of course 2 sunks with the lurkers out on the high ground, and then the following lings, it's gonna be impossible to break. And it's going to really kind of jeopardize his unit or his army's position if he did commit to that attack. Hawk is expanding to the bottom right. He does have a Nidus, so he is going to be safe. And really, Protoss has to rely on Reavers in this case, has to rely on a different tech path. It's not just Gateway Man push through the middle, like in the mid game. So this is going to get kind of dicey. It is really, really hard to play the situation out as Protoss in the late game, but Bonyth definitely has the tools to do it. I mean, he has 4 base, going to have 5 base. He has the tech, but now Zerg has upgrades on the links, has cracklings, defilers, drops are going to come into play soon enough, and there's so many options Zerg has in this stage of the game.
Yeah, and you can see Bonyth was so extended that Hawk instantly went for a counterattack, and Bonyth had to turn around simply to just make sure he didn't lose his main. Instead, he's only going to lose top middle. I think that's a best case scenario for him because his entrance had 6 zealots, not even cannons. He easily could have gotten wiped right there. So nice move from Bonyth to turn around and make sure to save his bases. Meanwhile, shuttles now are out. Archon got so many kills. We don't know how many Reavers are out. It looks like an attempted attack at mid-left is going to be denied simply because there's no Defiler. Man, that's going to be a lot of Reavers coming pretty soon.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of Reavers, and Bonyth no slouch when it comes down to controlling those units. But with this denial of the 5th base, Protoss is getting on dice in a dicey situation. The main and the natural are going to be running out. Main is out. Natural is getting low. So, Bonyth needs, and that 4th base actually doesn't seem too saturated. So Bonyth needs to kind of start securing new bases here, or else he is going to run out of steam. Meanwhile, Zerg is maxed with a huge bank, just running Zerglings around, which are totally free basically, and getting plagues off, weakening this army. This is really where you want to start making a bunch of Templar, because Archons, Storm doesn't care about Darkstorm. Archons are good against Plague. These 4 Reavers are going to do a massive amount of damage, but the shuttles did get picked off by those Scourge. So these Reavers can get surrounded.
Yeah, that was a crucial catch right there to catch all those shuttles. And now the Reavers are going to be somewhat exposed, but because of how much AoE there's, that's another massive Plague. Just so much. 6 Reavers. Holy moly. Now, how do you actually get on top of the Reavers? It looks like he's going to send Lings. He does manage to take out one of them simply because all the Scarabs cannot connect onto all of the Lings. But it looks like this might just be a death push. There's really not a great way for Zerg to engage. Well, that's one way. Go for a massive flank, but Bonyth sees it with his observer.
Oh, but they already went down! All the Reavers, they got too far forward and got shot by that sunk. Only 1 Reaver remaining, and I was going to say this is do or die for Protoss. If he loses this army, he's going to lose all the map control that he has, and Hawk... Nyokin, I think Hawk's done it, man. He's in such a commanding position. He's going to be forcing some units to the 12 o'clock as well. If he denies that 5th base once again, it'll be massive. That's a huge Hydra strike force coming in here. There is Storm to work with on Bonyth's end though, so probably will be able to defend, but having lost his main army, you can see now there's no presence in the middle of the map for the Protoss, and Protoss crucially relies on having a strong mid-map presence with a very cost-efficient ball. Once they lose that, and once Zerg can start running rampant around the map, it just becomes so difficult for the Protoss to play. These probes all go down to the lurker spines, and now you can see Hawk is cutting off reinforcements at this 12 o'clock, and he's going to start funneling units. You can look at the mini-map, just blue coming in from all sides. This is like a campaign mission where Bonyth is trying to survive on this 12 o'clock on this hill, but there are going to be too many Zerg units coming in here. Where are the shuttles? Did Bonyth manage to rebuild shuttles? Yeah, here comes 1 shuttle to try and defend, but I think it's too little too late. More storms though with the 2 Reavers. Actually, Bonyth does hang on to this base for now.
Yeah, it looks like Hawk just not able to reinforce just in time, but that's another huge stream of units, and this time I think he's got more than enough. Simply only 2 Reavers, 2 Archons, 2 Cannons, and that's definitely not enough to stop this incoming blue wave. And I think with top middle going down, also eliminating all of those probes, Bonyth is now going to be down on basically 1 base mining at mid left. I think the mineral only is also gone. So, well, okay, mineral only is not gone, but Hawk, he's on 6 bases. He has bottom right. He has the natural there too. He's just flooding units. The only thing lacking from his comp right now is Defilers. Bonyth realizes that the game is starting to get chaotic. He needs to match the chaos. He's going for a Reaver drop or Zealot Templar drop at bottom right. He needs to eliminate that Econ.
Yeah, and this is what you need to do as Protoss. Have to go for this shuttle harassment. Oh my god, but one shuttle that goes. Oh, the second gonna go down before dropping any Templar. It's only Zealots so far. These aren't gonna do much against the units that are already here. So Bonyth gets repelled with his drop, gets his army crushed, gets 12 o'clock denied, and now basically in a desperate situation. I mean, there's just absolutely no way for Protoss to get out of this ditch. He's stuck on his quadrant of the map in the top left. He's behind in supply against Hive Zerg. Still making Dragoons. I mean, it's just over at this point. Hawk is going to aim move his units here. I mean, you know, Bonyth is going to get some nice trades. Of course, Bonyth's micro is always impeccable, so these trades are going to go well for him, but there's going to be too many Zerg units to deal with.
Yeah, it looks like the end is near. That's really not a strong army. One plague eliminates so much of... Oh my god, that's a massive lurker surrounding. These Reavers and Archons and Zealots are all gonna die, or maybe, yeah, the Storms are not good enough. Oh, actually they are. Wow, so many lurkers end up dying there, but there's still so much Zerg.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a formality at this point. Hawk is going to take game one. You know, I mean, Bonyth does have... He still has a couple bases to fight from, but the only way he can ever get back. I mean, I am calling this game that I can. But remember that game, Bonyth versus Eon Zerg on Sylphid last season, where
Yes.
Bonyth just like ran around with shuttles forever and grinded infinitely into a victory. That's what he has to pull off here, but like times 50.
Yeah, and Hawk is not giving him time. He's just attacking through the front. Now, the Reavers have been super effective. I think they even have the damage upgrade. Hydras are getting wrecked by this AoE. Storm Reaver is just ridiculous when you can support them with cannons or zealots or something to make sure they don't take hits. Now only a 40 supply lead for Hawk, but he still has 6 bases. Actually, 7 bases. I didn't even see mid-right has been taken. But still, top-middle has been denied, and it's crucial that Bonyth gets this pretty soon, because maybe 5 minutes or so, this mineral only and mid left is going to mine out. More shuttles are moving across the map, somehow dodging those lings, but it looks like the Scourge, I guess, maybe spotted it. Looks like he's going to go for some harassment at the natural bottom right, though.
Yeah, but the thing is that Hawk has so many hatcheries to work with. He has such a bank to work with that he could lose 50 drones and instantly rebuild them. So, of course, this is the way back into the game for Bonyth. Storm Drop is nice, though. It does connect with a lot of drones. That is 9 kills for him. And the Reaver also picked off probably 3 or 4 drones mining the gas. So, definitely a worthwhile drop. But the problem for Bonyth is that securing a 5th base just seems like a Herculean task. He has to commit his entire force up here. 2 lurkers burrow. They're going to get some nice shots off onto the Zealots, but you can see this is a nice composition from Bonyth. You know, stop making Dragoons, use all that gas for Reavers, for Archons. That's exactly how you should play against the Filers in late game also, because, you know, this composition not only can fight under Dark Swarm, but it's very mobile as well. And he is going to try and take this 12 o'clock again. But there's so much Zerg on the map. It's just up to Hawk to really box a move around. But he has so many units to just throw. Like, he can just do whatever he wants. He's going to come here and try and attack 12 o'clock again. His game plan is to deny that 5th base from Protoss. This is a nice position for Bonyth to be entrenched in.
Well, this is one of the most fortified positions that Bonyth has, so I don't know about this. This is kind of a questionable move. There's so much AoE. Templars, Reaver, Archon. The entrance to Bonyth's main is actually not that heavily defended. That could have been a way for Hawk to just end this game. Oh, he is busting through the front. Those cannons have been popped. Reavers are obligated to stay at top middle because the shuttle got taken down. Now another one's coming out, and now Hawk is kind of making it very, very dicey. He can attack almost all the bases. Instead, he's going for top middle again. But this seems like it's kind of just the meat grinder attacking at this angle.
Yeah, these Reavers are crazy. Thankfully, that Templar does not have enough energy just yet for Storm. Shuttle comes in with more Reavers, so Bonyth is going to be able to hang on to this position, and it can get a bit frustrating here as Zerg, where you're desperately trying to attack a position, but you can't quite assault it successfully. And most of the time, all you have to do is just kind of change your focus. Like you said, Nyokin, there's so many more other options to attack. Wow, these probes all die, which is massive. Now, even though Bonyth secured this base, he can't mine from it just yet. And obviously, Hawk, his reasoning is, why would I attack any other base? They're probably almost mined out. There's literally no reason to fight for anything other than this 12 o'clock base. And he is going to overwhelm this position. I mean, he has so many units, and probably at this point, I mean, Bonyth is going to be thinking about GGing, but these Reavers are still doing work. Okay, he's still bringing in a couple of units, but those Lurkers, they're going to make short work of these reinforcements.
Those Lurkers are still there. The Observer has never come down to clear them out. Maybe the DTs can clear them out, but look at the supply, 60 to 150. It's just a matter of time now. This base goes down, this is probably going to be game over.
Yeah, GG. So, Hawk takes that early win. GG!
So, yeah, so Hawk gets the victory versus Bonyth. It looked like, it looked pretty good in the beginning for Bonyth with all the loss of mining time with the drones, but really nice micro from Hawk to save all those drones. And then neither player could really get anything done in the mid game. I thought that Reaver contain with goons, he was just going to push through. Yeah. But didn't happen, and I think the sneaky base at bottom right is really what saved Hawk, because Bonyth had map control almost the entire game, but because he never found bottom right, well, until it was already set up, that's a lot of free econ for Hawk. And also, the Scourge connections were amazing. He killed so many shuttles that never unloaded.
Yeah. And it was kind of interesting to see Hawk go for that style. I mean, it's definitely a premeditated idea. He's like, you know what, I'm not going to play the standard kind of Hydralisk, heavy mid-game style. I'm actually just going to sit here, turtle, and force the game into late game. And I wonder if that was, because to be completely honest with you, that's generally not Hawk's forte. Let's just say, you know, it's not like he's the fastest player. It's not like he has the best end game management. I mean, we saw there, despite having a huge lead, he was struggling just moving all his units to end the game. But at the same time, I feel like maybe he feels that that's kind of the same for Bonyth, where it's like, you know what, if I take Bonyth to the ultra late game, that's going to tax his management skills as well. And I feel like I can get ahead in those situations. So, you know, both players there kind of slugging it out, but Hawk, once he got to Hive Tech, despite the fact that Bonyth had 4 bases and all the resources in the world and had time to get into robotics play and shuttle play, he just got ran over.